Well, hello to you and welcome to this weekly Wealth Insight. And so I thought that this week would be really, really interesting. And one of the things that I've learned from wealthy people is that they keep investing in themselves. It's constant and never-ending learning. And what's really interesting, Warren Buffett says that the most important investment you can ever make on this planet, the best investment on this planet, is in yourself. And yet what's fascinating when you look at the research is the stats are ridiculous. It's something like 80% of people never read a book again once they leave school. And 96% of people never finish a course even if they started. And that's why most people that are accountants or lawyers or doctors are actually forced to do ongoing programs to stay in touch. And yet as we go into the next decade, and as we're in the next decade, and as technology is changing so fast, what you learned even 6 months ago is practically going to be irrelevant. And you've got to be able to be learning all the time. So I wanted to share with you a story. And this was a story from 2010. And you might or might not have heard the story before, but basically I built a business where I started in 2004. And my strategy in life was always to work harder than anyone else. I worked hard at school. I worked hard at university. I got on the rugby pitch. I wasn't the fittest, but I wasn't the most talented, but I was certainly the fittest. And, for me, when I got to business, it was the same. I just thought, well, I'll outwork everybody. But then we had the crash in 2008, 2009. I couldn't work any harder, but I kind of hit that ceiling. I couldn't get through. And I found, I'd been following Tony Robbins for a long time. I've literally been following him since my early 20s. And he offered a business mastery course. And you actually had to apply for the course. And I remember applying for it, and it was like applying to Harvard. It took me so bloody long, and finally got through, and got accepted. And then I found out how much it was. I didn't even know how much it was, and it basically cost me $50,000 10 years ago, so 2010, to fly all the way to Vegas, stay in Vegas, go on the course, and then 6 months later fly all the way to Fiji to his private resort in Fiji, and go to Business Mastery 2. And I remember telling my mother about it. She thought that I was absolutely stark staring mad. And I actually didn't tell too many other people about it. And what was really interesting is the Business Mastery one completely opened my eyes, met some incredible business leaders, people like Tony Shea from Zappos, Jay Abraham. I could go on and on and on. There were 30, 35 of incredible leaders. And then I went to Fiji, and this is me and Tony Robbins. And, most people often have pictures of selfies, when they're at an event. Well, we were actually on his island with only 30 people. And I remember we were part of the platinum group there, which is his elite group that cost, in those days, 10 years ago, $75,000 to just sign up, and then $30,000 4 times a year to go away on these amazing trips. And one of them was to come to Fiji for Business Mastery 2. So I managed to, with my friend there, Andrew, sneak in the door and be part of this. And I remember saying to the guy, how do you afford $30,000, 4 times a year? And he said, well, I just make sure I make $30,000 in 30 days. And I remember thinking, I was selling off-plan developments. My best ever was 86 properties in one day. I was like, how the hell am I ever going to make money? Because I was always doing the work now and getting paid like 2 to 4 years later, if I was lucky, if the developers actually paid me. Terrible business model, to be honest. But by going to this, and it wasn't even Tony Robbins, it was by talking to one of the other delegates and me just giving me an idea and me asking myself a better question. I went away and I completely reverse engineered the way that we were selling property in Australia. And I managed to add more value to my clients, to create a better product for them, and to put $45,000 in my bank account within 40 days of coming home from Fiji. And so that's a story that I always use for myself when I think to myself, well, how do I go to the next place? How do I, learn or grow, etc. And for me, it's really, really interesting because, the question I always have for people is, what are you doing to learn and grow and take yourself to the next level? There's another picture that I wanted to bring up here. And one of my dreams was to go to Necker Island and to meet Richard Branson. So, well, firstly, one of my dreams was to meet Richard Branson. And then when I found out you could go to Necker Island, it was a dream to go to Necker Island. And again, I got to spend an entire week with him, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This was a picture of me and him going kite surfing. I could literally ask him anything I wanted, plus asking, there were about 25 other highly successful entrepreneurs. And, from my perspective, I've always tried to put myself in the room where I'm the dumbest, poorest person, because there's only one way up in terms of that, and that's really, really interesting. And so this Wealth Insight is about this consistent learning, putting yourself out there. I could go on and on and on about Singularity University, the courses, the digital, the online learning, the reading the books, the audibles, everything else. But I tend to find that when you immerse yourself and put yourself in an environment for 3 to 5 days or even a week, it just has that measurable impact where you can really focus. I've done so many weeks with Roger Hamilton, etc. And so my advice to you as you go into this new year and this new decade is go and find some things that are going to make a measurable impact in your life. I did Leadership Academy with Tony Robbins last year. And for me, I'm always looking for something that can take me to the next level, where I can be surrounded by like-minded people, not just the presenters, but equally like-minded people. Now, I've got a gift for you. I was asked 2 weeks ago by Brian Walsh from Real Entrepreneur to present, and they had about 3,000 people in the room up in Johannesburg. And they've got an event happening next weekend, so the 7th, 8th, and 9th of February. Now, the 9th of February is my birthday, and Brian has offered me 10 tickets. Now, I'm allowed to sell those 10 tickets. He basically, he's selling them for about 10,000 Rand for 2 people, so call them 5,000 Rand per person. And I'm allowed to sell those 10 tickets. So that's worth for our company about 100,000 Rand. But we want to really add value to our community. So first come, first serve will be to our inner circle members. And I thought that what I'll do is I'll put out this video so that those that are watching the Wealth Insights can take advantage of it. And if I show you here, it's called Real Entrepreneur Intensive. It's a 2.5-day program. It starts at 1 p.m. on Friday and then runs through the whole day Friday, the rest of the day Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And what's really important basically is that you're going to learn everything from the psychology, marketing, everything you need to know about business. Now, whether you're wanting to become an entrepreneur, whether you already own a small business, or whether you are already a large entrepreneur and you want to learn more about digital and where it's going, this is an opportunity for you only if you are looking for measurable change, only if you're looking for a way to take yourself or your business to the next level. Tony Robbins always says that the biggest constraint in any business is the leader. And so I'm going to be there. I'm going to be listening in the room. I'm actually presenting for 90 minutes on Saturday. And this Wealth Insight is about investing in yourself. It's about putting yourself in situations so that you can go to the next level. But equally, we've got 10 tickets, and I want to give them away free to our community because I believe in life. You can have anything that you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Now, I've never done this course. I'm not endorsing it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to give it to you, as a gift from the Wealth Migrate community. And you can come and participate. So if you are interested, literally, I will give you the links below. Reach out to Lee Rush if you're part of the inner circle. She will be the one that will be administering the 10 tickets so that we can give them out. And for those of you that are not inner circle members, maybe reach out to Lee Rush and ask her, about becoming an inner circle member, because really that for me is the game changer, where you put yourself in an environment where you can learn, you can grow, you can invest, and you can be purposeful as part of a global community. If you enjoyed this video, literally subscribe to the channel. We want to empower 1 billion people. We cannot do it on our own. And really, we encourage you, we want to empower the 99% to be able to invest like the top 1%. And it all starts with psychology. 80% of success is mindset, and only 20% is execution. And that's what these weekly Wealth Insights are about. Please share them with people. We fundamentally want to change people's belief. We want to change their knowledge. We want to change their access. And we want to change the results. Till next week, hopefully, I'll be seeing you in Johannesburg at the Real Entrepreneur Intensive 2020. Cheers.